My guest this week is Chandler Levack, a Canadian writer and director based in Los Angeles. Chandler began her career as a music critic, contributing to publications including Spin, The Village Voice, and The Globe and Mail. She later transitioned into directing, helming music videos for artists such as Pup and Jeremy Duscher. Her debut feature, I Like Movies, premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival and drew from her own experiences working at Blockbuster Video in the early 2000s. The coming-of-age comedy was named to TIFF's Canada's Top 10 list and won 4 honors at the Vancouver Film Critics Circle Awards, including Best Film and Best Screenplay. Chandler recently completed the film Roommates, and her sophomore feature, Mile End Kicks, inspired by her time as a young rock critic in Montreal, stars Barbie Ferreira, Jay Baruchel, Devin Bostick, and Stanley Simmons. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome the Revolutions per movie, Chandler Levack. Hi, Chandler.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm doing great. There's so much to talk to you about. You came to my attention because of your film, I Like Movies, because it's about a video store. And as a former video store owner, I have to ask you, you're here. You made a movie about it. So you worked at, what, like a chain like Blockbuster?
I worked at Blockbuster in Burlington, Ontario, the Brant Street location, which is now Tim Hortons.
Did you have to, was it hard to get a job at a Blockbuster then, or was it pretty easy?
Well, I mean, I think in terms of the retail jobs available to a teen, Blockbuster probably had high prestige value. And it was good because you don't have to, it's not like you have to fold any clothes neatly or make food. Everything's just these sanitized things wrapped in cling film.
Right.
So that was good. I mean, I was terrible at selling things. There were so many weird combos and membership deals and buy 12 DVDs and you get Spider-Man 2 on DVD a week later.
It's rough.
I was terrible at that, but I kind of had the gift of the gab in terms of just talking about movies. I was so nerdily obsessed with film, and so anyone that would give me the time of day, I was oh my god, I saw that you're looking at Triple X, but have you also watched That's Feast? Because I'm right here, let's go. And then every so often someone would take pity on me and watch Ghost World or take my suggestion, and then they'd come back and they'd be you're right, Chandler, Rosemary's Baby was really good.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny because watching your film, I had a Highway 61 poster, Don McKellar.
Oh really?
And then I had a Happiness poster on the wall. When we opened, we opened in 96 and I just was I'm just going to put stuff up. I'll change it every year. And I just left it. And so I was really touched in your film where I was oh, she's got a child star poster over there. Okay, I know what she's going for.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
So when you're casting someone like Isaiah to play Lawrence, what a perfect find. Was that who you pictured in your mind, or was that just kind of luck with casting? Because that's kind of a one-in-a-kind personality.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know who was going to play that part because it's such a specific character. And the movie kind of lives and dies by who's doing that role. And I wanted it to be someone who really got who this guy was. And a lot of young men, I think, that want to be teen actors, are very handsome and well adjusted and just kind of normal and cute and unthreatening. And I needed somebody who had a bit of an edge. And but was also equally charismatic and funny and beautiful and interesting. And Isaiah, and we had 300 actors audition with self-tapes across Canada.
Amazing. And
some really amazing actors audition for that part, Gabriel LaBelle, pre-Fableman's audition for Lawrence.
Sure.
Isaiah was just instantly so magnetic and thoughtful, and then the more he auditioned I think over Zoom with me, and then we added each other on Instagram, and then we just started talking, and then I would spend 3 hours a day just talking to him on Instagram, even while auditioning other actors for the part. And it was just very clear as soon as we met that we were kind of creative soulmates.
Yeah, he's brilliant in it. Also, the casting, Krista Bridges as his mom.
Yeah, she's so good.
I was
Yeah,
just like, how come I'm not seeing her 24/7 on
I
everything? She's
know.
so good in this film.
Thank you. So is Romina too. She's so great. I really was very lucky to work with such an incredible team of actors that really brought so much to it and kind of didn't overplay it either, like really understood the tone of the movie and like the sense of comedy and the awkwardness and the pathos of it. I think also Percy Hines White, who plays his best friend Matt, like is so understated and just wonderful at kind of like that sweet spot between it being really emotional but also really funny. Like,
Yes.
and yeah, that's really important to me. Like, I think I always like things that are like funny and sad at the same time, and I always think that's kind of like the most cathartic laugh you can have,
Right.
And so it was really fun to like craft those moments. And also, I think my cinematographer Rico Moran like brought a lot to that film, and my production designer Claudia Del Orso, who did that whole video store in such like loving detail, and my
Amazing.
costume designer Courtney Mitchell, who like, the polo shirts were like 4 polo shirts that she like tailored into one. Like everyone really cared and made it happen with their eye and hard work and stuff.
Yeah, getting that fluorescent kind of vibe, like low ceiling, like
Yeah.
this video store can be swapped out for any business in like a week. It really has that feel. And I was just like, oh my gosh, they got the right kind of shells. I don't even know how you find something like that when you're making a film.
Well, someone had told me about this video, Blockbuster that had been sitting vacant in like Southern Ontario for 15
Okay.
years. And so I was like, oh my God. So they're like, you should contact them because maybe you could like shoot there or something. So I like went on Google Maps, found the address of the video store, looked at like the pet store across the street and like called the pet store. And I was like, I'm trying to track down the property manager. They're like, okay, I think it's like the same guy. And then I called him and he's like, I haven't been there in 15 years. I think like teenagers use it to like party and have sex
Right,
with them,
sure.
break into the store. And I was like, well, can I come in there because I really want to make a movie there? And he's like, oh, okay. So then me and my producer Lindsay Blair Goldner, like we drove up there, and then he opened the door and it was like a time capsule. Like
Right.
all the shelves were still there, the computers, the
Wow.
little cart that I remember pushing DVDs on, the
Oh,
microwave, the TVs. Like it was just like God had like given me a video store. But then also like the ceiling was caving in, and I think we were all getting asbestos poisoning just from being there. And there was like a vagrant that was like living in the corner. And
right.
I was like, Lindsay, like, we found our set. Let's make the movie. She's like, we are not shooting in there. That thing is like a health hazard. Like, that building's going to crumble and kill us all.
Right.
And so she was like, you need to talk to the guy and just tell him that, like, can we take like everything that's in the video store and just use it as our set? And I'm like, I'm scared. And she's like, you can do it. So then I called him, and then I literally met him in a dark alleyway. I gave him $1,000 in cash. He gave me the keys to the Blockbuster.
Wow.
And then my production designer and all of her wonderful art team, like we drove up in like a cube truck, and we just like took everything from the store, like ransacked the entire video store. And that became our set.
Sounds like
But
me opening my store. It was the same thing. It
oh,
was
really?
like, well, Blockbusters were putting all the little mom and pops out of business in
Yes, of
Portland.
course.
So I was opening in 96, which was a weird time where all these stores were like, please take this stuff. We're
Mhm.
closing.
Those shelves are so specific too. Those like
I know.
weird wire racks.
Oh
Like I
my
have a
gosh.
pristine memory of just like putting the DVD on the rack, and then you like hear the little like reverberating like echo afterwards.
Your film captured it so well. Again, I loved it. I would have, if I still had my video store, I'd be like, have you seen I Like Movies? Have you seen I Like Movies? Because
Oh,
it's
that's
just,
so
you
sweet.
really, I mean, it's not about a video store necessarily. It's a very powerful film, but I just felt like it captured it in such a way that only somebody who worked in one could have captured that, especially with a chain where it's like, okay, somebody has bought the name and they have their like little sales thing. You gotta sell 2 this week. I think you can do 3, and that whole thing
Yes.
that I never had to do, but I know it was out there because I mean, It just had to survive. But yeah, it's an incredible film. I also need to tell you, and it's jumping around a bit, but the Pup Guilt Trip video you made is like one of my favorite music videos of all time. That video, and that was before I knew about this movie or anything, but it's like watching a Mike Lee film in 3.5 minutes with amazing. It's just like it's so sweetly wicked and kindly tragic in 3.5 minutes, and you feel like you believe it. You're like, this is like obviously a fictitious origin story that's like, hinging on energy and violence and running away and fighting, equipment and just starting fires and gunshots. But I just wanted to say kudos on a really incredible, like, short film, really.
Thank you so much. That's so nice. I mean, I can't take sole credit for it because, I co-directed that with Jeremy Shalin-Ryu, who's like an incredible filmmaker and editor. And that was his idea. So I kind of just like came along for the ride. But I'm really proud of that movie. I guess you could call it a movie. And and it was also great to work with Finn Wolfhard when he was like 8 years old.
It freaked me out. See, I didn't even know who he was when I first saw it, right? Like, he was not Finn, that everyone knows from Stranger Things yet. But it was funny. I was showing my wife it. I was like, I'm going to talk to this filmmaker, Chandler, and this is something they did earlier. And I was just like, I never knew. It was so weird. But just everyone cast in that as the 4 members of Pup are just amazing. And I don't know. I just is so different tonally than, like, again, a lot of things that are dark like this video. They're hopeless. And there's something about just kind of like this weird fictitious backstory of this band ending up like they still drink beer the same way that they did as kids.
Yeah. I mean, I think we really want to do something that's kind of like, how do you create like a Stand By Me like mythology kind of like this band? Yeah.
Oh, I know. I will put links to all the films and videos in the show notes too. And again, I wish you would have made one of my videos because it's so good.
I will do a Guided by Voices music video anytime.
Okay, well, I got to rejoin it. So hold on. I'm going to call right now.
Yeah, let's get Robert Pollard on the phone.
That's right. So, Mile and Kicks is partly based on your life as a writer. Mm-hmm. What era were you writing music reviews?
I started when I was 18, so in 2004. So really like the mid to late aughts, and then a part of the early 2010s.
Okay.
Sort of for the death knell of music criticism, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah.
Like I started, I think probably like at its like last, Roman Empire or something.
When you could actually maybe get paid per.
Yeah, there were still like staff writing jobs and also music magazines and in print. And, it was still the era of like Pitchfork and Stereo Gum, really like breaking a band and being kind of like tastemakers, And then, by the time I was sort of getting out of it, like that job just like didn't exist anymore.
Wow, that's amazing. Did you feel like I tried writing for the weekly and I was too sensitive. I was afraid of hurting people's feelings or telling their story wrong. How did you deal with that? Like as a writer in terms of like, cause you're right. At that time, it really carried a lot of weight. I read all that stuff too, and just kind of followed along.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was like a 22-year-old girl. So, I mean, I think I thought I was like a critical authority. But I also, there was like, I was a staff writer for this one magazine and, sometimes I would come to work and I'd have to write like 8 articles in a row. And so it just became this kind of like fever dream of like, I mean, I think I became a much better writer, but I think I just like wrote stuff in a bit of a vacuum. And now that I'm like a filmmaker, I feel like I wish I was still more of a critic because I think I have so much more empathy for what it's actually like to make something and put yourself out there, and like just how hard it is to like make anything, let alone anything good, and all the like different circumstances and things that can happen along the way in like an artistic experience that inform it. But yeah, at that time, I don't know. I was really, I loved writers like Chuck Klosterman and Lester Bangs and uh, Pauline Kael, and I think I wasn't afraid to be a little bit bitchy or cutting in my writing and stuff, and so I'm sure I made a lot of mistakes, and I'm sure like I think I've read a couple things I wrote it during that era, and some stuff I'm proud of, and then some stuff I'm like, oh my god, I'm so embarrassing.
Well, sure. I mean, it's the
Yeah,
same as like you write a bunch of songs. You can be like, I was kind of ahead on this one, and then you're like,
yeah,
ooh, I was not in a good
yeah.
space when I did this.
This is not. This is like not only is unnecessarily cruel or like not even that funny, or I didn't even know what I was talking about. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Richard Meltzer lives in Portland, and
Wow, cool.
yeah, and he came into the video store. I was like, you're the Richard Meltzer, like Louis Colt, like Rolling Stone, Cream. And he's like, yeah, and he would just like write reviews without listening to the record, because he was like, back then he's like, it wasn't taken seriously. It was just
Yeah.
like music journalism was like, it was like an art form. It was like it would just didn't have the weight yet. Do you find yourself like reading criticism these days? Does that resonate with you at all?
It's funny. I don't read music criticism anymore, and I don't even really follow music that much. Like I used to know about every single like emerging band, like Four Guys in Skinny Jeans. I knew what they were up to, but
Right.
now I'm like so checked out of it. Like I only knew about Geese because like 12 people told me to listen to them.
Yes, like same here. I felt really old. I was like, oh yeah, I know who Geese is. Like,
Yeah.
I'm there, right?
I mean, and they are really extraordinary, and they are kind of the future of music. And I think Cameron Winter's like amazing. But yeah, I'm just like not really in touch with that life anymore. Like
Yeah.
I think somehow maybe in my mid 20s, like I just shifted over into like loving movies and became a film critic instead. And then that became like my new identity or something.
Well, you originally started writing this before I Like Movies. Is that correct?
Yeah, I couldn't get Mylan Kicks made. Like nobody wanted to make it.
Wow.
No actors wanted to read the scripts. My producer Matt Miller, who did Nirvana, the band, the show, and is the movie, and is just has been like an incredible, spiritual leader for this project and like a cheerleader, and just I'm so grateful to him. Like we've been, he optioned this script in 2016, and so it's been like a literal decade. And when we tried to make it with like Canadian film funding in 2018, like originally we were going to try to make it for like $1 million. And even though I'd been like nominated for 2 Juno Awards for pop music videos I directed, and I'd had a short that was at TIFF and South by, and I'd, gone to the Canadian Film Center, which is like Canada's version of AFI. Like, it's just like I couldn't get the money raised. And
Wow.
the people we were talking to at the time were like, oh, well, maybe you can shoot it in like Northern Ontario, like in Sudbury, and you can just pretend that Sudbury is Montreal. And I was like, that's not the way to make this movie. Like it has to be in the 4-block, radius where the movie takes place. And, I had a vision for like the kinds of actors I wanted to be in it and sort of the scope. And also I needed all the songs that, were in the film and stuff. And so I didn't want to compromise on that. And Matt was like, okay, well, why don't you make another movie first and then make a small like micro budget. And if that film's successful, then we'll have more leverage to kind of go in with this movie. And so in Canada, there's this grant you can get called Talent to Watch, and it's like for first features. And at the time, it was $125,000 to make your first feature film. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to think of an idea that I could do for that amount of money that mostly takes place in one location. That, I'd also never really directed anything that felt like my own voice before, and the kind of comedy and like sensibility that really shaped me, like, you know, Freaks and Geeks and Judd Apatow's movies, and you know, Girls by Lena Dunham, and just Todd Solondz, and yeah, all of that stuff. Lady Bird. And so, yeah, so I just kind of pivoted. And I'm really grateful that I did. You know, I think it's a good lesson that just to always be working on different kinds of projects, because you never know what's going to get made first. And yeah, you kind of don't have any control over your career. So it's sort of like I got to write my own ticket.
Well, and I've heard you, I mean, you said this is romantic comedy, correct? You would
Yeah.
say. Right.
Yeah.
I found that you had a public letterbox of romantic comedies that kind of influenced A Mile in Kicks. And one of them that I love that you had on your list is Smithereens.
Oh my God, by Susan Seidelman. Yeah.
Such an incredible film. And I really felt some of that energy in your film.
100%. I mean, that movie, when I saw it, was just like completely arresting to me. I mean, that's Susan Seidelman's first feature before she made Desperately Seeking Susan. And, you know, it's just filmed in the Lower East Side at a time when it like looks like a bomb shelter has gone off.
God, it's amazing.
And it's like this wonderful portrait of like the New York punk scene. And it's just about this like very obnoxious, like young woman wearing like ripped tights and Converse sneakers, like wandering around, just like following this guy in a band who like doesn't really want to have sex with her, but like she thinks if she just kind of hangs in there, he will. And like,
yeah, it's Richard Hell too.
And it's Richard Hell. and it's just a fucking amazing movie. And I was like, I watched it and I was like, oh God, this is my Land Kicks. Like,
that film I saw when I was really young on cable, and of course had never been to the East Coast, but just was like you said, just the destruction of that city at the time, and watching somebody who was just so confident.
Yeah.
Like, just like, I'm putting up flyers of my face and I don't care, you know, and just the confidence. I was like, oh, it's going to take me some years to get the courage to go to New York, because these people will eat me alive.
I know. It's so true. I mean, there's like a part where they're like having sex in like or no, they're not having sex, but they're just like sleeping out of a van or something. And it's just like, yeah, it's really amazing, because she's such a prickly character, but then there's these moments of extreme pathos where like she's humiliated by that guy, or like left kind of like ditched by somebody, and you feel so much for her.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely feel a kinship to your film, and I mean that as a compliment, a total compliment.
Thank you.
As somebody in Portland, Oregon, who doesn't really understand why your character, Grace, would give the middle finger to Toronto as they're leaving to go to Montreal. and I know that you grew up outside of Toronto.
Yeah.
There's so much funny stuff that's said about Toronto in this film, where they're just like, yeah, that's kind of not where you want to be. That's just, you know, that's not where real art is made. So can you kind of frame it for me a little bit? Like, what was it about Montreal that just felt like, oh, this is where the real artistry is happening?
I mean, I think just at that time, especially like in 2011, yeah, it always had this kind of like mythical reputation as being this place where you could get like a beautiful apartment in Mile End for like $600 and like live as an artist and not and just kind of like have a kind of more freer like pseudo bohemian lifestyle. And I think coming from Toronto, I mean, I was like basically working full time, and I dropped out of school by the time I was 20, so I didn't really have like an actual adolescence. I don't think. I was always like this weird little professional, you know, in my like Urban Outfitters blazer and my tape recorder, like hanging out backstage after a show, like trying to get a quote from the bass player before, and then having to like walk back to the office in the snow, like to, you know, write the article before my 6 a.m. deadline. Like, so to when I you know, I got fired from this Alt Weekly, and I finished, I had 2 credits left to graduate, and I finished my degree, and then I And then I moved to Montreal, and it was like the first time in my life that I actually felt young.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And like, just, I wasn't really working, and I got to be around people my own age and develop this incredible group of friends. And every weekend we would go, to these different parties and concerts and poetry readings and stuff. And it was just really exciting. I felt very like free, and it was like the first time that my life was kind of as interesting as a movie.
Bone Patrol. Had you been holding on to that name for a while?
I don't know. I think I wrote it in like the first draft of the script or something.
Okay.
And it just made me laugh. Like, there's so many, like, I mean, this, like, there's so many, like, of those, like, all those 90s bands, like Ween and Super Chunk and stuff like that. Like, I wanted kind of like a very slackerish kind of like 90s sounding band name.
Yeah, when you just stop thinking about what it is. You're just like, oh, yeah, I'm going to see Bone Patrol. You don't even think about it
like
anymore.
It's kind of a joke.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh, maybe subconsciously I was thinking about like Singles and Matt Dillon's band Citizen Dick.
Okay. Well, there's some great quotes that Chevy, the worst guy in Montreal, the lead singer of Bone Patrol, he's like, I like music that is unlistenable. I think art should be hard to make. Were these taken from like, they had to be real conversations that had been said to you? I was like, no one makes this up. This is real.
Yeah, there's a lot of lines that are like things that, I don't know, I guess male artists that I've tried to date have said to me kind of verbatim that always like stuck out in the back of my mind. Like when he's like, I don't even know if I can be my own body right now. I think a guy said that to me once. Another guy said to me, like, I think Chevy has this line, like, I don't know what I want, but I do know that I don't know. And like that just like
Jeez.
has like haunted me for 12 years or something. Yeah. So I guess that's kind of the fun thing about being a filmmaker is you sort of get to like, I guess when a moment like that happens, it's so frustrating. But then later you're like, well, but it was a great line for a screenplay.
Yeah, it was interesting. I watched the film with my wife, and there was that one line that says, where it's just talking about the semicircle of men talking about Husker Du, which album is better. And there's a line that Grace says about, only once did someone ask your opinion, and that felt like a whole football field of floodlights slowly switching on at dusk. And my wife was like, totally. She's like, I've been looked through. I've not, she's an artist, and she's like, people are like, who are you? Okay, no. So we talked about it after the film because it's just it's just omnipresent still.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's very much a like pre-Me Too movie.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how people are like watching the film and being like kind of looking at it through like 2025 glasses and kind of being like, why is there like such a lack of diversity in this film? Why is everyone's like queer politics not like progressive? Where's the like, and I'm like, you guys don't remember this like horror show of like the time that it was like even me being a woman was like such an anomaly. Like I might have as well been like a dog that could like walk on my own hind legs. Like there was just nothing there. And any person that was like any kind of different perspective that wasn't just like a straight white male guy in like a plaid shirt with a beard, like was so tokenized, and so, I mean, I think it's really unfortunate that just as we're starting to see like more of a diversity of voices in journalism, the institution is completely eroded.
I know.
But yeah, at the same time, I'm kind of glad that we're here. But yeah, I feel like the film is very much like me trying to reconcile, what that experience was like for me, because I think at the time, like, I didn't really understand what was happening.
Making some of these scenes that are just so powerful, and I'm trying not to give anything away in the film. Is it hard to revisit this and be on set and have, I don't know, I just wonder, like, I'm asking naively if at times it feels like close to the bone when you're making something like this.
Yeah, I think I felt like for most of the time I was like, oh, I can definitely handle this. Like, I mean, I like movies, but I think the gender reversal of that gave me like a lot more distance. And there's still a lot of stuff in I like movies that's very personal. Like, the first time I ever had a panic attack was in the back room of Blockbuster, and they wouldn't let my mom in the back room, and she did have to like coach me through a door, you know?
Uh,
And, that was a hard scene to film, but it was mostly because I just felt so much for Isaiah because he was really like having, he had to act that experience out. So I just wanted to make sure that like he was okay when he was going through that. Um, but then, yeah, with this one, I think I was always like, oh, yeah, this is fine. I can handle this, no problem. And then I would have like a freak out about like a prop or something. It would be like all of this like misdirected kind of angst about something that had nothing to do with the film. Well, it had something to do with the film, but it was like a very inconsequential thing. And I think I was kind of like deflecting just what a surreal, strangely invasive, process it is to kind of document your own adolescence with an actress who looks very much like you, and with a crew that's like so wonderful, but they don't speak the same language as you, and you're just trying to like hold it all
I
together.
didn't even think about that. That's so naive of me, of course, in Montreal.
And everyone's there to like support the film, and they're there, and everyone's really really talented and incredible, but it's also an indie movie, and you're running out of time, and you're running out of light, running out of money. And so I think for me, I would just like have these moments where I'd be really like spinning out, but I'd be like, but I'm the one who like is to blame because like I did this to myself. And so, and also it's my job to like make this more truthful and painful and honest and sincere and awkward. So it's like you kind of, yeah, all the boundaries are very like permeable, I guess. And I think what was so wonderful about Barbie's performance is that, yeah, she's just such a truthful and very compelling actor, and she has also this real undercurrent of like warmth and charisma. And so she kind of gave this character, who I think could have been in another actress's hands, like a very difficult hang, like the kind of dignity and respect that character like deserves, like, because as much as Grace is like a total mess, like you need to root for her and identify with her and stuff. And I was thinking a lot about like Bridget Jones, or but also like Hannah Horvath and Girls, and
Right.
yeah. And so, yeah, I kind of wanted to create a character that sort of fell maybe between those two or something.
So, did the film always have the Alanis Morissette Jagged Little Pill 33 and a third book as the focus of Grace's, journey to Montreal and what she wants to write about?
Yeah, it always did. I mean, I love that record. It was my first record that I fell in love with when I was like 8 years old. And, it always spoke to me. And then, but then as, I kind of kept moving forward with the movie and doing a lot more research on Alanis's journey, like, I can't believe how crazy it is, how much like what she kind of endured as a young woman in the music industry, like really mirrored the film that I was trying to write.
Yeah, it was really funny. So in preparation for this, I was just talking to people about Alanis Morissette, and like I'd go at the record store, I'd talk to someone, they'd be like, oh, I was a little too old for that. I was like a PJ Harvey girl. And then other people, like my strength trainer was like, changed my life. She's like, are you kidding me? She's like so excited. And it just feels like even, after this, did you see, well, of course you saw you saw the documentary. Yeah.
Yeah. I also saw the musical on Broadway.
Oh my God. What was that like?
It's a crazy musical. It's like written by Diablo Cody, and they kind of use Jagged Little Pill as this sort of backdrop, but it's not about Alanis at all. It's like about this American family, right. And they like literally suffer like every single issue that's like plaguing Americans today, like whether it's like the opioid crisis or like someone transitioning or like sexual assault or like I don't know. It's like a crazy movie.
It's the rock musical thing is still so weird. I had I had when Pavements came out and they were doing the the musical.
Oh yeah, of
I had
course.
the band on, but I also had I was dying to talk to the lead actor in the
Yeah,
musical, and he's just like, it's the hardest thing to do on stage is just
yeah,
to sing and have people be like, trust me, follow this like flimsy story. We're jamming into these songs you love. Oh my God, it seems so hard and thankless. I can't
yeah. Oh my
imagine.
God, just choreography. I could never
Yeah,
do it.
yeah. The people I was talking to at the record store, I was like, well, you realize she was also making art on a 4-track and wearing her clothes that she just liked to wear. Like, you love Lou Barlow and
Yes.
you love like, and no one is cool out of the gate. Like, you watch the Roland S. Howard documentary, Nick Cave's in it, and he's like, I'm really embarrassed about my first record. And he's like trying to be a pop star, and the video is
Yeah.
all soft focus. And I'm like, no one is cool out of the gate. It takes a while. So why are you being so judgy that she was like a pop sensation for a few years at like 13? It kind of
I know.
frustrates me.
Well, I mean, that was also interesting because I read a lot of reviews of Jagged Little Pill when it came out, which were all written by Ben. And they were so fucking derogatory. Like, one person called her like tampon rock.
What?
It was so crazy because I read this book, and then I think there was a writer, and he had been my boss at the Alt Weekly, and he like trashed Alanis, and I was like, this is just crazy. Um, but or a boss, sorry, not me, my actual boss. But yeah, I mean, I think I have a few things to say about that. I mean, one of my favorite books is Just Kids by Patti Smith, and she has this wonderful part of the book where she's talking about going to like Max, Kansas City for the first time and being there, like seated next to like Andy Warhol and like all of these really prolific, 1970s rock stars. Probably Lou Reed was there too. And she just talks about feeling like awkward and anxious and like not feeling cool enough. And I was like, oh my God, if Patti Smith felt like uncool at Max, Kansas City, like, then I felt like it was so relatable and awesome for me to read because I was like, oh, everybody feels like this. Like, literally the coolest woman in the entire world felt like this. Like, it's just, we're all like socially awkward losers. Like, everyone's in their own head. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what Grace says in the movie. It's like, I do feel like it's the first time that like a woman actually talked about how fucking angry she was, at the world, and it translated into millions of dollars. Like, as much as people made Alanis into this weird punchline, being like, oh, I guess she's on her period. Like, they're also like, that album is just undeniable. It's like you hear You Ought to Know now, and it's like I still get like tingles down my spine at just like the raw emotion in that song and just how honestly she's like conveying her experiences. I mean, she was 19 when that album was released, but like that song, I think everyone's been in that position before where like there's the injustice you feel like an ex for moving on, that wronged you.
Yeah, and it's catchy as hell too. The other day I was just at work and I'm like, it's like rain. I never sang that song before, but I've been listening to it, in prep for, talking to you and stuff.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, Exile in Guyville is like another record for me like that, where I just
Absolutely.
fucking run. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've listened to that song or Divorce Song, or I think that record is so brilliant.
I have to ask you about something in your film. Can you explain what Big Shiny Tunes 1 through 5 is? Because that feels like, because it's so like Archie when he meets Grace, and they're kind of nervously talking to each other outside of the party. She's like, what are your influences? And he says, Big Shiny Tunes 1 through 5. And I knew that it was something that like funny that only people in Canada might know. But what is that?
Okay, that's a very niche Canadian reference. I gotta tell you, in Canada, that joke fucking kills.
Of course. I knew it. That's why I had to ask.
Okay, so in Canada, we had a station that was called Much Music. That was like our equivalent of MTV.
Right.
And they created these kind of anthologies of like the hit songs from every year. they had Much Dance, like 95, Much Dance 96. So that would be like, the rhythm of the night, or like,
Right.
baby, don't hurt me, or like I saw the sun. And then they had Big Shiny Tunes, which was like their like alternative rock kind of
Oh
compilation.
yeah, shiny too.
Yeah. So it was always like a mix of like really popular Canadian like rock songs, like The Tea Party and Matthew Goodband and Moist,
Wow, that's so
Sloan.
fun. Oh,
It's
that's so
funny that,
funny. I was just in Toronto a month ago at the Paradise Theater. I did a live Revolutions per movie with Sloan, and
oh
we
wow.
talked about the history of making music videos. It was super fun.
Oh, I love their music videos. They're so good. That one that's by the airport with all the planes going overhead, that
The
one is
Easy
fun.
Rider tribute.
Yeah, or like the other man that's kind of like a Mozart, like
Yes,
Amadeus sort of one.
it was really fun. I got to put like the trailer for Privilege before the film the video that they made that it's a tribute for that, or Easy Rider, and I did it all out
Wow.
of sequence, so it's like jumping from their first stuff in Nova Scotia to like the last thing they made and the fake movie trailers they made. But yeah, I mean, I was asking about Much Music because I didn't realize that just you couldn't get MTV up there, and they had to create their own situation. And then it was like, okay, you need to make Canadian videos with a Canadian
Yeah.
crew to get played. It was just very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I would literally like sit in front of my television for like sometimes 5 hours to like, they'd be like teasing that like the last night video for the Strokes was going to come on. But they
Right.
wouldn't, we wouldn't know when. So you'd literally have to like sit in front of the
Totally.
television for 5 hours.
Yeah.
They also had this show about like alternative indie rock called The Wedge. That was
The
really, really,
Wedge.
really good. Yeah.
It's the shiny tunes and the
Yeah.
wedge. It's just like,
So
wow.
yeah, Big Shiny Tunes. Yeah, so it was like Canadian bands like that, I Mother Earth, but then it would also be like you know, like Radiohead and Blur and
Right.
all like popular stuff. So if you were a kid, yeah, you would buy Big Shiny Tunes because you would get all the hits that you're looking for, sort of like a mixtape.
No, it's a really, amazingly funny film, very sweet film, but a very intense film too. And I'm just really glad that it's going to be out now and that people can experience it. So
Oh, thank you so much, Chris. That's so nice.
also you have another film coming out now as well, Roommates. So what is going on with that? Like that's too much. It's almost too much.
It's too much, man. Yeah, it comes out also on April 17th. Double bill. That's a Netflix film that I did with Happy Madison. It was produced by Adam Sandler. It stars his
Wow.
oldest daughter, Sadie. It has the wonderful Chloe East in it, and just like a murderer's row of like comedians. Tasha Leone, Nick Kroll, Carol Kane. It's a really funny, fun movie that was written by these two great SNL writers, Kira Jane O'Sullivan and Jimmy Fallon.
It's got to be really different to just be working with somebody else's material. Is that like an added pressure, or was that kind of freeing?
I was really lucky because everyone was really collaborative and they kind of let me sort of bring my own sensibility to the movie and stuff. So it was really fun to kind of be like on a Zoom call with like Adam and Kira and Jimmy at like 2 a.m, like pitching jokes and coming up with ideas and like getting to talk to these all great SNL writers about, our vision for the movie and stuff. And on set too. I mean, I think Adam, like his love language is just collaboration and comedy and stuff. So to kind of see him get really excited about like an idea or a joke or come up with something together and block a scene together, like it was just like I feel like it was just like I got like a master's thesis in like comedy film.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be just shaking to be like, "That's Sarah Squirm over there. That's
I
Sarah
felt that way
Squirm."
too.
Like
Every day on set, I was like, I can't believe like Martin Hurley is here, or yeah, Carol Kane, or
Carol Kane.
Sibu Semi. Like it was just like
Yeah.
Janine Garofalo's in the movie. Like I just I got to work with like everyone I've ever loved, and everyone was really nice. So
That's amazing. Do you have are you writing something now, or where are you at with the next project?
I want to take a break because I just feel like I'm like giving birth to twins in like 2 days, like movie twins.
Yeah, totally.
And so it's very like surreal to have like your second and third features come out like on the same day.
Yeah, you're allowed to breathe. Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I have a couple of ideas. I mean, I haven't written a script myself in like so many years. And so, yeah, I have something like that's a bit more personal that I want to try to write. And then, I don't know. I'm really inspired by like what Zach Kreger is doing in terms of like Barbarian and weapons. And I think it's kind of like inspiring me to be like, oh, maybe I should try to write like a genre, like a horror movie or a monster movie or something
that'd be
like
amazing. That'd be incredible.
A little bit more like I've just never kind of stretched my wings in that way. And I think what I love so much about Zach's work is like the screenwriting is masterful and it's so character driven and it's also very funny. And I'm like, oh, like that could be kind of fun and empowering to like do what I do, but like bring it to a new kind of like genre.
Oh, I'm there. I'm so there. That sounds perfect. Please, 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 please make that happen.
And liberating to get out of my own trauma.
That's right.
Or bring the trauma to a new genre, I guess.
And you can have it scored by Sloan and guided by voices.
Oh, God. That would be great.
I thank you so much for joining me today. It was so nice to meet you. Again, I'll put links to where you can see all the films and the music videos. At the end of every episode, I ask the same question, but I tailor it depending on what we're talking about. So on a scale of a $1 rewind fee at a video store being the lowest and a free rental at the video store being the highest, what video store magic would you give your life in making movies?
Making movies is like digging through the returns bin at a Blockbuster and realizing that the movie that you like always were dying to watch, they said was rented out, is actually just been freshly returned and that you get to watch it.
That's amazing. That is the right answer. That's what I have written here.
No!
Yes, absolutely. Incredible. Chandler, congratulations. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much. It's a real honor to talk to a Guided by Voices and Video Store alum. You are an icon of Portland, Chris, and I hope I get to come to Portland soon, and I will buy you a voodoo donut.
Sounds great. Thank you for listening to Revolutions Per Movie. We release new episodes every Thursday on your favorite podcast app and additional bonus episodes every Sunday on our Patreon. The show is a completely independent affair, so the best way to support the show is through our Patreon at patreon.com/revolutionspermovie, where you can get weekly bonus episodes and shows, exclusive limited edition flexi discs and records and CDs featuring guests that have appeared on the show, and other exclusive goods sent to you just for joining. You can follow us on social media at Revolutions Per Movie and also find out more information about our various guests in the episode show notes. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week. Bye.